Okay. And that's what I was going to ask you next, Reggie, is the Interscope Death Row breakup. In Suge's podcast, he makes it like Jimmy contacted him while he was in prison and said, hey, we're not going to distribute you anymore. Which sounds odd, but I just wanted to legitimately get your take, because I don't remember off the top of my head, to be honest, what caused the split, or what was the reason for the split, or who initiated the split between Interscope distributing Death Row stuff. Like, was it Interscope, so quote unquote, dropping Death Row, or was it Suge and Death Row saying, I don't want to work with them anymore?
Yeah. I heard Suge take on it, and I know y'all get mad when I rewrite his take, but I'm just going to throw this out, and hopefully Suge will remember and be like, okay, yeah, that is true. Suge had a major clause when Suge had just signed a big contract with Universal, or I think they were MCA at the time, with the company, whatever company that Edgar Broffman was running, and that took over, where he was getting $20 million guaranteed a year, and I think his monthly was like $1.5 million, which came up to that $20 million, which was guaranteed for his operation expense. And Suge got that money, that deal done when we came back from Paris. I remember we flew in straight from Paris to New York for him to execute and finalize that deal. So it was whenever that hung jury video, the first part was done, when we did in Paris. But I don't remember the date. But for some reason, I think it was sometime in July or August that this happened, of 1996. So the only hang up in that contract was, and I remember Suge laughing to me, like, man, Reg, they up there holding up my money and holding up this deal because they scared to ask me that if I get in trouble, if I catch a felony or, get arrested, go to prison, that they don't want to be in business with me anymore because they've been in corporation. I told them, man, run that deal. If that's what's holding us up, I'll sign that. So they used that clause to get out of the contract, where they could void the contract, because they could have made anybody. That's why initially Suge had this guy named Paul Marshall, this attorney named Paul Marshall, trying to find. We hired this guy because everybody only know about the time that Reggie or Michelet or Norris was in charge. But for about 2 weeks, we had this other guy that Paul Marshall and Michelet had met with and agreed to hire. And he's a good dude. I always liked him. His name was Miller London. He was the editor and the owner of Urban Network magazine. And Miller London was coming to be the face of Death Row. Now, Suge always had a plan, like, that nigga just gonna be a face. He ain't gonna be able to make no decisions. Reg, we got this, but he had them hire Miller London. And Miller London came in there and started meeting with artists and stuff. And I remember Miller London came to me and handed me the keys to the car, because we gave him a company car. I said, Red, I can't do this. And he quit within 2 weeks. I think he got one check. He was getting $12,000 a month. And a car was his salary. And he's like, I can't do this job. I can't do this. And he quit. So I'm saying that to say, so that was his game plan, to try to put somebody that was in the business, responsible, to be the face of the company. But they had this clause that if Suge wasn't in charge, they can get out of the contract. And they elected to get out of the contract because of Suge's arrest and his conviction. Well, once he got that conviction, is when we started, they put us on notice that they were no longer going to honor the agreement that he had just signed. And so that's what happened. And that's when, Snoop and everybody started getting mad, and that started happening like sometime in 97, the end of 97 or something like that. Because that's when the cuts stopped getting checked. And that's what people didn't understand. And I think Suge, by not calling in Snoop and Nate Dogg and people like that were still left there and telling them that, hey, the reason why your check's not getting cut because Interscope bailed on us and we don't have a distribution deal. I'm not getting this $1.5 million a month, where he was out there trying to make it happen and getting the deal with Priority and all of that, to where people got upset and then started doing the things that they did in reaction to not getting their check for a month or two. And but to be honest, the reason why Interscope was able, they probably been wanting to do it because they had got Dre and they thought Dre was going to make the home runs, which as Suge will tell you, Dre flopped for the first 3 or 4 years until that white boy came and saved him. He was doing bad. He had to downside houses and everything. Until M came and did what he did for them. So, see, that's one of those things where I keep telling y'all, I feel bad for putting things out there because this is Suge's story to tell. But if y'all want the truth, y'all can continue to come and listen to me. If y'all just want to hear Suge version, then y'all probably need to stop listening to me, because I'm going to tell the good and the bad, where that's the real reason. It ain't because they didn't want people cussing and all of that, like he said. It was just because they used a clause and they wanted out of death row business because they were doing other home runs at the time. They had 9 Inch Nails, they had Beck, Dre wasn't doing it yet, but they had Eve, they had Maya, they had Kirk Franklin. Everybody forget about that Stump record. They had Teddy Riley and No Diggity, No Doubt. They had other stuff that were doing it for them, and they knew that they still had Tupac. And so the only asset that they were really losing was Snoop. Because if you're keeping it real, that's all we really had. Nate Dogg was great as a side artist, but he was not an artist that could carry an album by himself, as y'all saw. But put that nigga on a hook. I still love Nate Dogg singing on hooks to this day.